So I want us to check something to do with transactions in databases. We see what are transactions. I want us to see what are transactions. Let me share my screen. Um, oops. These shouldn't take so much of your time. So I want us to check what are transactions and how they are used in databases. And we say that transaction is a logical unit of work containing one or more steps. So each of which must complete successfully in order for the transaction to commit to the databases. So if there are errors, then all of the data modification are erased and the database is rolled back to its initial state, to the initial state of the transaction. So let's see, let's see let's see how we can create a transaction in a database. I think this one is more of maybe you can say in most cases these are executed or are created within a procedure. I think we checked what are procedures and how they are used some days back. So we are going to have a transaction. In fact, this is the syntax for transaction. We always start with saying with this line start transaction, and then in the transaction we are going to carry out a number of things, and then we commit that to database. This is the safest way you can execute large queries in form of transaction, because you understand if let's say we had a large query that is taking some minutes to execute, and then maybe let's say there is power loss, as the one Amos is facing in his area. So you notice that maybe that let's say maybe you had a large query. That query can execute to a certain level, maybe a certain point, and then if there is no power, you notice that those let's say maybe you are making some changes on the database, and we have a large query. So and maybe when that query is executing, maybe you experience a power loss. So meaning that some queries will have executed and others will now will be left behind. So that one can that one can affect the database, uh, especially if maybe you are doing some changes on uh, on various tables, or maybe on various databases. So the safest way to execute those large queries is by use of what we are calling transaction. So you create a certain transaction, you put all your code in the transaction so that at least now you are safe. Because we said that a transaction is just a logical unit of work containing one or more steps, and then each of which must complete successfully in order for the transaction to commit. So meaning that even if, let's say maybe if you had a large query within a transaction, maybe you happen to experience some power loss. So if your code is within a transaction, it means that there will be something we call the rollback. So meaning that the effect will not take the effect will not take the effect will not take place in the databases. And this is one how we use transaction. Uh, I thought it's good we see how they work for you maybe to understand some of maybe the for you now to see how maybe you can be executing large queries, especially maybe you are in an organization where you are dealing with large databases. So you always start with a start transaction, and then uh, you put uh, you put the work that you want to do here. In this case, the work is some queries. Like in this case, you can see we are doing some insert, and we want to insert into. I think you can just change this table to. Let's change this table to insert the rated employees record into the rated employees. So I think let's see. I think you can just use the databases, the tables that you were using yesterday. That is the employees, and no, the customer, and the customer backup. So let's try to insert into that is the backup, the customer backup. I think you can just change this one to maybe retired what insert into customer underscore backup table. And we want to insert, let me just try to execute this. And see what we had here. Oops, okay, yeah, I think we have the data. So we had the ID, we had name, that is age, address, and what, and salary. I think you can copy this data. Let me get back to the transaction. How is this? Triggers. Mm, Can you see the transaction? I'm looking for the transaction table or file. Oops. Custom. Let me just try to open that again. Let's open that once more. I don't know why it is taking time to open. It's still opening. Maybe I can just drag this. That is the simplest way to do it. So we want to insert the into customer backup, and in this case we are inserting employee, And we want to insert also the, let's just insert the ID. That is, we want to insert, I think we have age, no name, age, address, and salary. I think those are the things that you want to insert here. And you want to select from what? Select ID. That is now you can just do away with these. Now let's just put them. We can do away with that. That is select ID now from our customer table. That is from customer where let's say ID is equals to something like let me just counter check the this table. To execute this is in this customer. So I think you can use ID number for that is data for Eric. I believe this data is in the it's already in this backup, right? So let's just try to do an insert, a simple insert here. Insert. First, let me indicate that I'm using this database. This is Bounty Company. I want to put a different data record here. Insert into this is customer. And you want to input some values here. We have ID, common name, we had age, address, and salary. I think those are the fields that we have. And we want to add values. You can just bring these here. Values, and then we just enclose these. For ID, we can have an ID 23. For the name, we can have Amos. And age. Let's just put that in. Address. You can just in Nairobi. Let's add salary. Salary is 56,000. I think that should work for us. Let's see if we have the record. Yes, I think now we have the record for Amos. So this is the record that you want to move to this using transaction. I don't know why I can't trace that here. Transaction again. I don't know why this didn't keep. Oh yeah, it's here. So where ID is equals to, I think you gave Amos an ID of 23. So then this is what we are doing. We are inserting into the backup table ID name, age, address, salary, and we want to select ID. That is from the customer, where ID is this. Then after that, what should we do? Delete the employee, delete the customer. In this case, is the customer. This is the customer. The customer from the customer table. So we are delete from. Thank you guys. You can remember what we were doing yesterday. That is a customer where ID is equals to, where is equals to 23. So and then we do a commit. So now with this we are safe. Even if maybe we experience a power outage or anything just happened in the process. So we are safe. In case this one doesn't complete to execute, it will just roll back. So I think you can just if you can execute this and see if it will work. And I can see we have an error. Oops. Oh, we are told that column count does not match. And we have a count somewhere. I think we have a problem here. Let's try and solve that. So we are told that column count doesn't match value count row one. Uh, what did we have in these? I think they should match because we have ID, name, age. Let me see this. I think this should work, by the way. This from customer ID is this. Delete from customer ID is equals to this. Let me just try to. Where could we be getting these? That is ID. I'm wondering why is this happening? Okay, can you just try to execute this and see what happens? Let us just try to debug this very fast. You can see we are returning an ID of 23. Select ID, where it is this. I think this should work. Let me just try a different ID and see. Could anyone see? I think start transaction. I think something has executed here. Let's just do a checkup very fast. Anyone who can tell us where the problem is? Because we are trying to insert uh, the deleted customer record to the backup customer backup. That is the customer underscore BKP. Insert into this. Something is not working out here. See transaction, start transaction. Okay, can just try it. Let's try to debug this using a different tool here. You make Google your friend. Let's see what we could be missing. I think ChatGPT should be a friend here. And I can see it's kind of we are missing something here. That is the ID, the name. We have age, address, and salary. I think that is what we are missing. Let me see this commit start transaction. I think this now should work. And I can see these as executed successfully. So sometimes these it's not easy to note where you have a syntax error. But I think now we are good, whereby you must select when you are inserting into a different table, then you must select all the fields that you want to all the fields that you want to insert. So let's check now if we have copied the data for this ID successfully into this table. I think you can just try to execute this again and check. And if you now you are to check, we have AMOS data now in the customer backup table. And if now you were to check this table here, I think it should have deleted successfully. I don't think we should have that file in this table. So you notice now that with the transaction, when maybe when you use transaction, you are safe. It's safe. So anything that you are going to, in case you experience some technical issues with during the execution, you are still safe because there will be a rollback of of, of the execution that you intended to do if it is incomplete. And that is the use of the transaction. Of course, there is a way you can modify these. Even you add some try and catch. We call them the try and catch mechanism, such that you can even in case you have an error during the execution maybe a transaction. Of course, now that transaction will give you an error in form of a message. So I think you can just check. I think you can just check maybe a rollback. You can check. I think I had an example where something where an execution failed here, and let's see how we can get even those message text with errors. So we can create this one works well. I think I had already said this one works well inside procedures. And I don't know if you can remember how you are doing procedure. So we always start with the create procedure keywords, and then we mention or we name our procedure. In this case, we are trying to I think we can say that insert that is inserted delete customer user. You can call it this way. That's delete. That is customer. We inserted delete customer users. This is now the name of our procedure. And of course, if you can remember the syntax, we always start with a delimiter. Because again, there will be we are going to have a number of statements inside this procedure. So let's begin. We begin our procedure here. We want to declare an exit handler for SQL exception. So and inside this now is where we are going to handle errors. Should there maybe be an error occurring during the execution of a transaction. So let's see how we can handle this. Uh, So in this case, you note that you are beginning. We have two beginning. That is beginning for a procedure, and now the beginning for of how to handle the exception, the MySQL exception or errors, what we are calling the errors. So we just have to declare the exit handler for SQL exception. This is how we do it. Then you begin that process. So we are going to have a rollback. Then we must give a signal. In this case, we are just giving a signal to say that a certain transaction, happened, or a certain transaction failed, and this is the message in form of text. So I think that is it. We are setting the message to transaction failed, and then we end at that point, and then now we can have our transaction here starting at this point. So in this case, we can try to insert into. Let's just try to insert into customer. I told you these things can get complex sometimes, and we want to insert age. What else do we have? We can have name. I think age. We had address. Is it address? Yeah, I think we had address and salary. And we want to insert these values. Maybe we can have degree ID. We can have a name here. If the name can just remain to be Bob. Let's have a city here. If you can say, let's have Vika. And then for salary, let's maybe have something to do with like 4,000. And we want to delete from customers. From customer, where name is equals to, you can say where name is equals to who. Let's check these. Let's do Eric. Let's have Eric. You can use Eric here. So let's try to execute this and see what happens. I'm hoping that it will execute successfully. Let's see this. Oops, we have an error. Oh, let me see this. Insert add customer begin declare add draw. Let me see this. Let me just copy this to chat GPT. This kind of an error. That is error code 1064. Let's see. I think it should help us to debug this. Oh, I think I didn't mark that delimiter part. Oops. Yes, I think that was the problem. I left out the delimiter part as I was highlighting, and I can see that my procedure now has executed. So who can remind us how we were executing procedures? Now that you were in class yesterday. Rosabitha, can you help us to execute these? Can you help us in this, or any other person who is who can remember how we were executing this? We can have let's have David Joroge. How are you executing procedures, David? Or any person who can remember how we were executing procedures. Of course, if I refresh this, I should be able to see my insert and delete customer procedure here. Who can help us to with the command to execute this procedure? I'll just choose a random person. David Joroge, can you help us to execute that? David, we are waiting for you to, to help us. I think it's just a one-line command. Or maybe you can choose a person to help you to execute it. David, if you can hear me, let's have Sylvia. Sylvia, are you in position to help us to execute the procedure? You guys, I think you're not going through the lectures. I don't know why. Who can help us? You can also write it in the in-call messages, if you can remember that. How are we doing it? Okay. I think I have someone called Mombi. Mombi, you are saying we call. Okay, can I think you can just unmute your mic and tell us how you are going to do it. Sorry?
Hi.
There is so much noise coming from your side. But I can see you typed call. Then I think it should be you call the procedure name, right? I think even it's just right below somewhere here. Just calling that procedure. You guys, I think you should be checking these things. So insert what? Let's have insert customer procedure. I think it should be like this, and then you can just execute these very fast. Why these? Oops. And I can see we have called our procedure. I think it has executed successfully in this case. So let's see what we have in customer. And you can see that we managed to add these. How is this? We managed to add that Eric. We managed to add these where we have Eric. So if there was maybe a case of failure, we could have get this message just below here. So I think because I'll share with you this file, I think you can just try to check cases where you are going to have a failed execution of maybe these statements. That is on your to your own free time. So because I can see time is it's kind of going very fast. Let's get to the next part. With this, you can check. You can just try to execute a transaction that you know that will fail. This one was quite straightforward, and it's you can see it's executing. Just try to write a statement that will give you an error, and then you should be able to get this error message somewhere below here. So I think after that, let's see how you can truncate. This is another concept that I feel that you guys you should know. I think it will help you so much. And we are saying that trunk statement deletes all the data from a table. And this is a similar. In fact, this one is similar to delete. You notice that when we drop a certain table, we drop even the structure, we drop its data, we drop its everything. But now with the truncate will help you to delete just the data. Let's say maybe you don't want data in a certain table. You can use truncate instead of you can use truncate just to delete the data and remain with the structure of your table instead of dropping the table. You can also use the delete. They work they work the same as truncate. So and how we use truncate is it's very easy. You just have to use the truncate keyword and then table name. I think this one should work very fast. Let's just see. Let's see this. Let's try to demonstrate this here. Or I can just use this customer table. So let's just try to truncate this. Truncate, and we want to truncate customer truncate table, and then table name. In this case, is the customer. So and then you can just execute this very fast. And you see that we have truncated this table. So if we were to now to do a select, let's just try to select all from customers. This thing we should have now deleted all the database. But you notice we have the table structure. The table structure is here. Even you can just try to insert again and try to see if that is done. You notice that we have we are remaining with the table structure. So in case you want to delete any data from your table, you can use the truncate instead of dropping. I think I should show you that. Let's say maybe you want to drop table, because I don't think we are going to use this table again. Let's just have a drop customers. If you drop these and maybe try to select from that, you notice that you are told that in bounty underscore company dot customer doesn't exist, to mean that we have dropped uh, we have dropped the table completely, so we cannot retrieve that table again. So I think that is how you can use truncate instead of drop. And we are saying that truncate is a DDL, that is a data definition language command, and such there are significant differences between the read, that is a DML command. There is the differences between the it and the read, DML command. I think these are things that you can maybe check at your free time. Maybe we can go through. Let's go through them together and see. So you're saying that, well, a truncate can be means of quickly removing large volumes of records from a database. Uh, these differences should be understood in order to decide if using truncate command is suitable in your particular situation. Like we are saying that for the read, for truncate can be means of quickly removing large volumes of records. But what about the delete? I think you are going to see. We should be able to see the differences. I think I've listed some differences here below. Because when we talk of truncate, I think we are going to talk of some storage in the database, some storage in the hard disk. Let's just go through this together. Where is this? So we are saying that truncate will release disk space used by the read rows, and we are saying the read will release space. So we are saying if the table to be truncated uses identity columns, and this one will happen when you are using the Microsoft SQL Server. I think I have seen several times when using these. So we are saying if the table to be truncated uses identity columns, then the seed is reset by the truncate command. This may result to referential integrity problems. I think we didn't have chance to create some tables that relate to each other. But I think in the case where you are using the bike underscore store, we used a fully designed database that had relationships. That is using the foreign keys, so that maybe you can create a reference to various table. So we are saying that with when using truncate, that one could cause that is referential integrity problems. So also we are saying that depending on the security roles in place and the variant of SQL in use, you may not have to necessarily permissions to perform a truncate command. I think what I can just tell you is that maybe just try to download MySQL, Microsoft SQL Server in your machines. I think I have one installed here, but I don't think it's quite connected. And I can see time is moving very fast. I don't know if it will connect at the moment, but let's leave it. And I just try to exercise these two commands. That is the truncate and the read command. You can just try to create a sample database. There is a question. Is it a question? Yes, I think someone is asking a question. Is that that is at this one is quite difficult to pronounce. You can just unmute your mic and ask the question. If it's a question. That is ATSI. Do you have a question? Okay. It's Amos. Amos is the one who is using difficult name to pronounce. So I was saying that just try to install this MySQL server and try to execute some of these operations, such as that is the read and the truncate. And maybe you can prove what we are saying here, right or wrong. So I think after the truncate, I think the other thing that I thought we should check is something to do with union operator. I think this is something that we didn't check. I think we can just rush through this and see what it is and how it works again. So, and we are saying that union operator in MySQL is used to combine the results set, that is of two or more select queries. So, meaning that uh, you can combine data from two select queries. We are saying that by default it will remove the duplicates. Let's say maybe you want to select from column 1, column 2 from table. Union, select column 1, column 2 from table 2. Union by default will remove the duplicates, should there be any. So by default, it will remove the duplicates. But if you want to include the duplicates, I don't know for what reason, you can use union. You can use all. It's called all. The all union. All union will help you to combine the select the data collected from the select tables. That is table 1 and table 2, including all the duplicates. But I don't know if anyone would like to do that. So I think that is it. Maybe we just highlight some few rules of union, and one of the rules for you to carry out the union, it's that the number of columns in all select statement must be the same. So meaning that you cannot have a select statement here with, let's say here maybe you are selecting three columns. Oops. That is column three, and I want to union these with select statement with two columns. This one will give you an error. So the rule number one is that columns of all the select statement must be the same. The other rule with union is that the column must have compatible data type. You can't have a select, maybe let's say we are selecting uh, a date, and an int here, and in here you are selecting maybe numerical variable character and variable characters here, and you're trying to union the same. So meaning that we must have compatible data coming from the two tables. I think the other one we had already said that by default union removes the duplicates, and to include the duplicate we use the union all for you to get all the data, that is including the duplicates. I think that's all for. I think that is what we had left out, and I think now it's covered. It's covered fully. So what is remaining now is for you to go through the resources, the videos, so that at least now you can get these skills at your fingertips. So I don't know if there is any question that is concerning or regarding any lecture. I can just pick two questions. Maybe before I forget, if at all you are really interested with databases, something else maybe you should consider to check is something we call SQL injections. You should check something we call SQL injections. I think that one will again help you to even decide secure databases. You can just check. I think you can research on that. What is SQL injection and how it operates, and then you will be good to go. So, any question? Yes, I think there is a question from who? That is Erickson. Erickson,
I was asking if you will share the PDF,
oh,
the notes.
these notes.
Yeah.
Yes, I'll share the notes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Any other question? That is on notes I'll share. And in case I get some resources on SQL injection, I'll also share. Do you have any question? Let me check out the call messages here to see. Okay. Sylvia Irore, any question? Victoria, we have Victoria Kadure, Mumbi Guno, David Joroge, any question? I think this is the chance to ask any question regarding databases.